Facebook.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter. INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.
The coach, and with me today, I have Rick Brown, your reporter's favorite reporter. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a fun-filled, action-packed, informative, entertaining, and educational and enlightening show for you tonight. Boy, it's getting ready to start and get it going. Welcome, Rick. How you doing there?
Good evening, Coach Clayton. How are you, sir? I'm doing quite well. Thank you very much, sir. I am just here trying to. What's up, Coach? I can't do that. What's going on, my brother? Let's go. Are you hyped?
Always hype, man. Always hype. You know, we had Georgia football started, and man, they started early with big games, and they got another one tonight. Thomasville High goes against Thomas County Central. It's gonna be Thomasville will be closed down tomorrow. You won't be able to go through. You won't be able to do anything. That Rose City Bowl is gonna be on and absolutely popping.
Oh man.
Hey, we already got commentary. Boy, I love it. I love it. Now, let's go. Man, I'm telling you. Boy, you know, we had that first game last week, and you know, we had some negative. And from that negative evolved a lot of stuff.
Okay.
The Leon High Tallahassee Ricketts game got stopped at halftime because of some violence that took place at the concession stands. There was a fight that broke out. We're going to show a little bit of what we had, an interview that we did with newly appointed back to Ricketts High School. Tell us a little bit about what really happened last night with the Ricketts High School and Leon High School game. What happened?
Well, it was a great turnout for the game. I mean, everybody's excited about high school football. It's back here in the capital city. It's one of those times of years that we look forward to. And we had a great turnout at Cox Stadium. We had a very unfortunate incident that occurred. Fortunately, it happened during halftime where the student athletes were in the locker room. And so at that point, we had to make sure that we ushered our cheerleaders, our support staff, training staff, etc., making sure that they were in a safe environment because you clearly could see that something was going on outside of the confines in the stadium. But the thing about it is, at what point do we stop having these unfortunate incidents? At some point, enough is enough. And we've got to figure out some ways to curb the types of violence that we're seeing in our community.
Okay, so the disturbance happened in the parking lot or inside the stadium?
It seemed to happen inside the stadium, outside of the Leon locker room, which is at the front of the stadium. And from all indication, law enforcement was able to at some point try to contain the situation. There was a fight that broke out, and from what I have read, that a teenager brandished a gun, and come to find out that it wasn't a real gun. But nevertheless, in those situations, you don't know if a weapon is real or not real. All we know is that a disturbance occurred. It canceled the game. And at the end of the day, it's the students that are out there playing that are trying to get better and create some opportunities for themselves, they end up suffering for it. In addition to that, you've placed everyone in an unsafe environment. And we try to make sure that all of our contests are, have safety at the forefront of those things. We've instituted a no book bag policy. We're trying to push a clear bag policy. And we just got to be able to create a safe environment for our fans and for our students. But we got to come to some types of solutions with our youth, that they need to be able to understand that we can solve issues without violence.
Yeah. Agreed.
And see, that was very important. And we gave Earl an opportunity to discuss it. The local media went to the Leon High School football coach had already been commented about it. The Ricketts football coach was not. We gave Ricketts an opportunity to discuss it. Now, mind you, the incident took place with both students. It was Leon High, they were the home team. Then there was another publication again came out, all from Leon High, who did a release. Now, you're a professional journalist, covered sports with Lakeland Legend, and nothing was talked about from Ricketts, which is one of the reasons we do the show that we do. There's not many sports journalists in the area that actually allow us or treat INSiiGHTS, even though we've been here 10 years, with that level of respect. Allison Posey, who we all know and love, is special. Joy Lamar, who's over in Savannah now, covering sports, the only one who ever did anything on us. We kind of get overlooked. But if you ask any of the kids on any sports team in the city, they all know who INSiiGHTS is, because we ran our stuff on television for 4 years, up until other people said, you got Mickey Clayton letting him put stuff on TV, but you don't let us put it on. But that's another story. But the kids themselves know about us. And I imagine there's some similarities between INSiiGHTS and what we do within the community, as with Coach DeLoach and the factory. When you do things for the kids in the community, is not always appreciated by everybody. But again, I would have thought that they would have done a story and covered both sides of the story, from Ricketts High School and Leon, just Leon. That in itself was a little bit surprising as the story went on. And I had been told to ask the reporter what his thought on was about that, and why the mainstream media, as some people like to call them, tend to favor some over others.
Okay, now, depending on who the home team was and depending on our deadlines, it's easier to go straight to the home team, their administration. If it's their home game, okay, let's back up. Let's reverse. If it's just one team who is a local team who I'm covering, then of course I'm gonna go to that team. But if we're on the road,
both of them Tallahassee teams.
Right. I'm coming there. But if I'm on the road, say if I'm out of county and I'm covering my team, I'll get the logistics. I'll get all of the pertinent information from the home team. What happened, why, and then I'll come back, double back and get from my perspective, my team's perspective, for lack of a better term, the team I'm covering, their perspective. Then with two local teams, you go to the home team first to get all the pertinent information, and then you go get reaction from at least the head coach from the other team. No matter the deadline, no matter what, you try to get a balance of both teams when they're local teams. And then if you want to focus heavily on the home team, that's fine. But when you're doing two local teams, it's paramount to get a balance. You have to. That's just good reporting. Actually, it's reporting 101. Thank you, Roosevelt Wilson. I appreciate you, Prof. Rest in heaven.
Okay, I was wondering, you went from Tallahassee to Tampa and went to Savannah, then you made a
Because it happens that way, Coach. I mean, yeah, we all know there are some people who are just doing easy stuff. We know that. That's what they do. I don't think it's personal. I think it's easy. They're lazy.
Both teams in the same city, Tallahassee, Leon, Tallahassee, Ricketts.
It's always easier to go to the home team, though.
They're both right there in the same place. But I hear what you're saying. They're in the same place, and 2 days later, you still don't have a quote from the visiting from one side of the ledger. So you look at it, and it comes off as if it was Ricketts' fault, and it would involve both students. But, and I have nothing against the football coach from Leon because he's one of ours. He's a Rattler. Tyrone McGriff, very fair, honest individual. That's not what the case was. But I mean, people were very upset about it, and upset with the perception that it was about one entity. In fact, Ricketts has now come out effective immediately for football games played at Cox Stadium or on the school sites. Everyone must remain seated in the appropriate area unless going to the restroom or the concession stand, which is where the concession stand is where the issues come from. No one can stand between the concession stands around the interior fencing and the exit entrance gates. Doug Cook, principal, Ricketts High. So he actually came out with that today and was released by WCTV. So at least Ricketts did get an opportunity outside of what we did with Ricketts, which was completely disregarded, but it is what it is.
How many home games are played at Cox?
They have games there every weekend because everybody in the city uses it.
What is it bigger than their home stadiums, or do some of these schools just don't have home stadiums?
They don't have home stadiums. That's why they play at Cox.
They don't have home stadiums. Okay.
Most of them don't. That's why almost all the games are played at Cox.
Wow.
Okay.
I never realized
that. To get back on track a little bit, to kind of stay with what we try to do, but that we had to cover that before we get to Coach DeLoach and some other things that we have on there. Morris Brown, without accreditation for over 20 years, it has their accreditation. Now, this is something that
awesome.
Welcome back, Morris Brown College.
Awesome.
Man, you can't help but get chills when you see and look at some of those things that are going on. I mean, usually that's a death note for someone. And there's a gentleman who's doing a real good job. He said when he took the job at Morris Brown, everybody criticized him as the president. He said he had more money in his personal account than what they had in the coffers at Morris Brown. But they have come back, and we all have to cheer for them in terms of where they are and what has happened to them in terms of being resurrected. So we very happy, very proud of. We still have some good information coming from you, but from Rob DeLoach from the factory, he just has done such an outstanding job over there. But we also have a interview with a young man that we have on pretty often with us, because this weekend is the MEAC SWAC Challenge. And with us needs no introduction in the civilized world. That would be John Grant from ESPN with the MEAC SWAC Challenge, the Celebration Bowl, or every other kind of black college bowl for all those successful teams. John Grant has his fingerprints all over it. John, welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Mickey, thank you so much for having me, my man. It's always my great honor to be with you, my friend. We go way back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do. And we've been all the way back to when the bowls had different names and people were not trying to give us the credit that we deserve. And you kind of stayed on that task and stayed on your grind to we were able to get some people to recognize the significance of what HBCU football has to offer.
I appreciate that, man. We were doing it together. So I'm just happy.
I did very little except follow in the footsteps. That's all I did. John, tell us. I know it's a busy time for you, and I know that it's right around the corner. Tell us about the excitement building in the ATL about the MEAC SWAC Challenge game.
Well, we're really there's a lot going on right now, as you can imagine. We're just a few days out from the event, from kickoff on August the 26th. We're really my team this year. I'm really proud of them. They've put in a lot of great work to make sure we're creating a world-class experience for the student athletes. We want a world-class experience for all the fans who are going to attend, but we also want to make sure we're creating a world-class experience for the people who are watching this event. So this year, as you know, it's a rematch of the 2021 Cricket Celebration Bowl, where South Carolina State was victorious over Jackson State to claim the national championship. So we're going to see what happens on August 20th when those two match up again here in Atlanta.
Man, both of them have a tremendous following, especially Jackson State. They move the whole state of Mississippi when they go somewhere.
Well, that's been their history. Jackson State has a long history of a huge engagement with their alumni base. I mean, I know that they've been leading FCS for many years in terms of attendance, which and certainly has been the case for the SWAC conference. I believe some 40 years that they've led FCS in attendance. So we're expecting a huge crowd here. Ticket sales have been extremely robust. We know that it's going to be a sellout. We're very close to that now. And we're telling people, if you haven't gotten your ticket, make sure you do so because they're going very fast.
And what is the seating capacity now for
it? The seating capacity of Center Park Stadium is like 32,000.
Okay.
And you know what Jackson State's accustomed to down there. And then of course South Carolina State, we can't sleep on them because they also bring a good crowd. And they're each of the lower levels of the bowl on both sides are completely gone. So most of the great tickets are gone, but there are still a few available.
Okay, and we're going to look ahead a little bit. It looks like you have an outstanding array of people coming in the near future. One of them, which is Florida A&M, but you got an outstanding crowd. That'll be a return to Atlanta for the Florida A&M Rattlers, and just in the fan base alone in Atlanta from Florida A&M is a tremendous market.
Well, it is, and we're excited about the future matchups we have for Cricket MEAC SWAC Challenge. You mentioned in 2024, we do have Florida A&M taking on Norfolk State. We know that's going to be a great matchup because Norfolk State has not been to Atlanta before as far as their football program, and it's been quite some time since about 2014, I believe, that Florida A&M has been in the market with the game. Now, if you were to ask FAMU fans, they said they're going to be here in December for the Cricket Celebration Bowl. but we know that we already have them on the schedule for next year. And then in 2025, we've got Southern University going to be taking on North Carolina Central. And then in 26, we've got Alabama A&M will be taking on Howard University. And we're scheduling 2027 as we speak. But we've got one half of that matchup set, so we'll be ready to announce that as soon as we get the other half set.
Well, two things I want to comment on what you said. One, next year, 2024, Norfolk State and Florida A&M coming in. We'll see who the real mean green is. You know, it will definitely be those Rattlers. We can speak on that. And you got North Carolina Central coming in Southern. Man, that's going to be a good pairing in 2025. So looking down the road, it seems like you've done an excellent job of bringing in the best. Not what I was going to say is that the way Florida A&M is looking at it, we're looking at being in Atlanta back to back. Is it? You know, we're looking to be there for the celebration to end the season and to come back again for the MEAC SWAC Challenge. So that, you know, that's not a secret. That's commonly thought of among the Rattler faithful.
Well, you know, the beautiful thing about the bowl game is, you know, it's not an invite. You have to earn your way in. And I know that in talking to every coach, I was at SWAC Media Day and MEAC Media Day, and I can tell you every coach without exception, all saying that, you know, they want to get to Atlanta. And so they're starting the year, you know, with the intent with their team that their destination is Atlanta for the Cricket Celebration Bowl. You know, Jackson State saying proudly that, you know, for them, they want to start in Atlanta and end in Atlanta, along with South Carolina State. So we'll see how you know this matchup starts out as we open the season in week 0 in prime time. You know, we want to let the fans know that this year's game is going to be for the first time on network television on ABC in prime time. So that's the first time in this game's history that we're in prime time on network television. But it also makes this the largest opening season game in HBCU football history, with the amount of fans and viewers that will be watching and engaging in this game. We're really excited about that.
Well, you said something there. You're talking about your viewership. Tell people a little bit about the numbers that you've had with your bowl games, especially the Celebration Bowl. I know that our numbers have really exceeded some of the other bowls that were going on, and people are really kind of surprised, even though we're not, with the type of attention that we're garnering in our bowl games.
Well, we're very fortunate because we're in a position to open the college football bowl season. So, you know, being early and being first attributes a lot to that. We're also have been fortunate since our launch that this game has been on ABC in prime time. And then we having a noon time slot is extremely helpful because that gives us the West Coast early in the morning and certainly gives us the East Coast in time for people to be able to watch the game, engage with it, still have an afternoon to do what they need to do. So we've been really fortunate in that regard. Our numbers have been, I'll say, off the roof, through the roof for us. We've ranked this past year, we were number 11 out of 43 games in terms of our total live audience. And we have to recognize in today's sporting world of television and, you know, total live audience is the number that matters. Obviously, your attendance has some bearing, but there's no stadium in the world that can hold. In our instance, Celebration Bowl, we were almost 2.5 million people in total live audience. And it also helped, though, that we have a sellout crowd for us at nearly 50,000 at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which really made the game look exciting. But viewership drives the day. And we're just pleased with how this game has performed actually since it's launched in 2015.
And not to go too long down this plank, but tell people a little bit about how significant those numbers are in terms of acquiring sponsorships and having people that want to come on board and be connected with the game itself. And, I don't think everybody understands how significant that is, that we're borderline top 10 bowl game.
Absolutely. And, if you take out the New Year's Six, Mickey, and the championship, that's 7 games. Those games are automatically going to be larger. We don't consider ourselves in those classifications at all. But when you look at the other bowl games, you take out those 7, you can see that it moves us down to like number 4 with the remaining 36. So we're really we have to be excited about what that means for HBCUs and the stage that it provides the student athletes and the benefit derived from that by the participating institutions and for HBCUs in general. It's a new day for college sports, especially for HBCUs who are now having more and more of our content, meaning our games, distributed on television platforms. And so, where we historically have looked at attendance as the gauge for how large an event is, that day is long gone, because total live audience rules the day as it relates to driving sponsor level interest. You can get sponsors with attendance, but the real money comes in when you marry that with a total live audience, because companies are really wanting to get their to extend the reach of their brand and extend the engagement of their brand to as large an audience as possible. And we've been fortunate that the Cricket MEAC Challenge has now on network television. The Celebration Bowl, having been on ABC from the outset, has been a platform for where that can occur. And with that, they're by far, from an HBCU sporting event, the largest 2 total live audience sporting platforms out there, bar none.
Well, let's keep it in perspective a little bit. A lot of people, look at things and they try to compare what the Pac-5, the Power 5 get and things like that. There's 150 institutions that would like to be able to have what we have. And to be in that boat with those Power 5, that's one thing, but we are ahead of a whole lot of institutions in terms of what we're doing and being able to identify with our constituents and the support that we have.
Well, you make a very good point there, Mickey, and I try to, for how I function and how I was raised and taught up is, you don't spend time looking over the fence at the neighbor's grass. If you focus on your yard and you do everything you can in your yard, then you'll have the neighbor looking over the fence at your yard. And that's what our intent is. We want to make sure, like I said earlier, that we're building a world-class event that's second to none to anyone. And if we do that, the rest takes care of itself. And so we're spending all of our time and effort in how do we continue to enhance the experiences for the players, the experiences for the fan, and experiences for the viewer. And we think we've done a good job at that. There's still a lot more to do, a lot we can do, because fan desires and what they're looking for changes. And so we have to be flexible to change with that and to meet fans really where they are. And ESPN continues to try to do that, because our mission is to deliver sports to make sure we are meeting the sports fans wherever they are.
And John, I know your time is precious, and we appreciate you carving out a niche for us to be able to talk to you. We will talk again, because we have some things that are going on that nobody else is doing, that we want to be able to allot it the time that it needs. to explain how we got to that point. I'm gonna keep y'all in suspense, but for all of y'all who love that music and the bands, John Grant has something special coming for you. So we're gonna have you back in another episode where we could talk about it.
Thank you so much, Mickey. I'm always delighted to be here with you, and thank you for allowing us to share, what we're doing with your listeners. And before I go, let me also say this: how proud I am of you and the team for what you guys have done with INSiiGHTS. I mean, you have really built a great platform that's continuing to expand and grow, and certainly my hat's off to you for that.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it. Your words mean so much. You've been critical in a lot of things that we've done, been able to bounce ideas off of you, and you showing me some things, and we appreciate it. I cannot thank you enough for what your support has done for us over the years, and thank you so very much. Everybody, you got it straight from the legend, John T. Grant. He is the man. You can't spend time looking at your neighbor's yard, Rick. Take care of your own.
How about that? Man, exciting stuff. ABC, 7:30 Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get it going. Let's get it on.
Okay, let's get it going. Let's get it on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's John has done a great job there, Coach. He's done a great job cultivating not only he's a friend of black college football. I mean, there's no other way of saying it, and he really does a great job at it, and getting it out there. So hats off to you, Mr. Grant. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we've always appreciated him and his support. He did a lot of things with us in the booster office, and he really does a real good job of communicating and getting in touch with people. And that black college football, it's that time of the year. It starts this weekend.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We're about to get started. I mean, it's football for the rest of the year, baby. Listen, I love basketball. I do. My favorite sport.
Yeah.
But I get excited for football season. Yeah. Basketball is my favorite sport, hands down. But I get excited football season. It's like a holiday. It really is for me.
Oh, with us today, we have a man in Savannah that has really done some outstanding things over there. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. In that Savannah area, he's the godfather. He's able to bring some people, all the college recruiters know him because of his connections with so many of the student athletes over there, and the things that he does to be able to get them ready for manhood. So with us today is Coach Deloach. How are you, Coach? I see your screen, Coach.
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Coach. We're great. We don't see you. We see a green screen. We can't see you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I didn't, Coach. I didn't know if you were wanted or not.
No, I'm not wanted.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
I didn't know if they had you in the protection plan.
There we go.
Hey. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Just great.
I tried to tell him I couldn't see him. He was telling me he was in backstage. I'm like, I want to be able to see you, but I said maybe he knows something I don't know. Boy, they already giving shout outs to Coach. You the man.
They had a piece of tape over the screen.
Coach, I'm scared of you here. Coach, I'm scared of you. Coach, I'm scared of you. Oh,
Let's go.
Coach, I'm scared of you. Coach, tell us a little bit. There's so much you could tell us about. Tell us a little bit about that, the factory. And first, it's 2717 factory. Explain the numbers and all of that. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
All right, so we're here in Savannah, Georgia, and we have a gym that's exclusive to elite athletes. We don't advertise. We don't have any phone numbers. There's no Twitter account. It's much more so to do with athletes who want to get to the next level. And we have a saying that it ain't for everybody. And for what we do, my partner is a former Marine. I'm former Air Force, so the attention to details are only for those those guys and young ladies that really want to be better. Not only better athletes, but better human beings. So our focus is not only trying to develop the athlete, but we try to develop the young people, to be better human beings in life. Because as you guys know, you play the sport, at some point, the air is going to go out the ball. So we, through weightlifting, we develop young people's mental mindset, the ability to cope in, situations that's going to cause them to use those survival skills. So they're going to get the total package, come in, work with me and my partner, Coach Sam Carter. The 2717 is after Proverbs. 2717 is one man sharpens another. So that's where it comes from, Proverbs. And then the factory is basically, for me, about relationships. And I work in manufacturing, so it's easy for me to, kind of bank on how machines work. So the weightlifting part is just one part, but the relationships of helping kids to understand how recruitment goes, how to stand up and talk in front of people. So every Saturday after they play on Friday night, they have to get them in front of us and tell us, about the game, tell us some of their successes. So we enjoy, empowering young people.
Wow, Coach, that's deep on so many levels. I want to go back to something I read about your program, and that's that it's invitation only, and only the student athletes can invite other student athletes. So, that's a novel concept. Explain rationale behind it.
Well, iron sharpens iron, and guys want to work against young ladies want to work, in the gym with each other. Is going to make them better. The funny part here in Savannah is that we're probably the most hated two guys in the whole city because we do things different, which is okay. And like I say, the mantra is that it ain't for everybody. A lot of kids don't want to work, and if you bring kids that make each other better, then it just creates a better environment for what we're trying to accomplish with these young people.
I love that. And Coach, in terms of the fact that they have to vote each other in, they also can vote each other out too, huh?
Yeah. So for example, if you have a guy or a young lady that's not, first of all, doing their schoolwork, they're not coming on time, they're not making up their beds, taking out the trash, doing things around the house, they're not community servants, then it doesn't work because it's bigger than the game. So we, like I say, when we're working with these young people, we try to incorporate 4 aspects of helping them become better human beings.
Okay.
I was waiting on Rick to answer a question, but he take too long to talk about. So, with what you do, you're getting so much feedback from people already, your fans, and they're commenting. A lot of people, I assume, know about what you're doing. And I'm so proud of the fact that you're doing it regardless of what other people think. When you work within the community, within our community, we have to make decisions that we think are best for our kids that other people may or may not agree with. But we have to do those things with the military background that you two have. Coach, I can't argue that. Like Richard just said, haters gonna hate. Keep up the great work, Coach.
And we embrace the hate. If they ain't hating you, that means you ain't doing something right.
Hey, how about that?
Coach,
part of the gift is that my partner and I, we've had the opportunity to kind of figure life out. My dad was in the military, so I was raised by my grandmother. And his dad was around, but he was raised by his grandfather and grandmother. So, and then, growing up in the red bricks, most people know about red bricks. You kind of develop some survival skills. So with those survival skills, we just try to implement in our young people. There's no excuses why you can't be successful. And we just happen to do it through weightlifting. The one thing we tell them, you can go on all the college visits you want, but on Saturdays, those weights want to be picked up and put back down. So, and you all know when you go for football on visits, it's a beauty contest. You got to look the part. So if you're running on the road every weekend, there's another kid that's picking them up every Saturday morning at 8:00. And they put them down at 9, and then they're going to eat, and then they're going to sleep. And then, they have their regular life. But it's one of the best things that I've ever been a part with, working with young people, because they just have so much knowledge and so much understanding, and they want to learn. And, we just take time to listen. And then they give us feedback. And it just makes working with these young people such a joy. So, I look forward to it 6 days a week. The only day that we don't work out is on Friday, because then that's when I go and do my observations of how well they perform. And it's not about the game, but it's how they conduct themselves on the field, off the field. How do they treat their teammates? How do they interact with their coaches? So I'm looking from a coach's perspective as a recruiter, so I can give them positive feedback on body language. And I'm big on body language. I'm not I go to the games. I may stay 15, 20 minutes. I go across town to another game and just try to get a glimpse of, what they're doing, and also fill in the gaps. So a lot of these kids don't have that dad in their life, and I can attest to it. That looking up in the stands, you don't have any representation. It's not a good feeling. So as an African-American, Negro, Black man, I enjoy going to see our young people perform at the highest level.
How long have you been doing this, Coach?
Well, the factory has been around since 2018, but I've been involved in youth sports for over 25 years.
What got you started, and how did you come up with this concept?
Well, it's just through life experiences. I was coaching, before I actually started my own kids, I was always working with young people. And it was always, in every city, there's a boys club, there's a PALS organization. So I was fortunate enough to be a part of the PALS organization, and just saw how, they operated back in the 70s and 80s and things like that. So it was good. And then I went off to college, and then I had an opportunity to join the Air Force, and I joined the service. And then I ended up working with kids with disabilities, Special Olympics. And that was an eye-opener, because, if you ever seen a Special Olympic event, they give it all. And I realized that those young people didn't realize their disability, so why should I look at them any different? And that was an eye-opener for me. So, after my military career, I got involved with coaching 6 and under, 8 and under, 10 and under youth football, and also middle school football.
Hey, everybody, make sure you follow us, INSiiGHTS Sports, subscribe to us. These are the type of stories that we want to do. These are the people that we want to reach out and touch, because they have a story to tell. And we can't tell it enough. I don't care if 10 other people tell this story. We'll be number 11 telling it. It cannot receive enough people. So we never try to be exclusive. We have time that we can cover it. We can talk about it. If we want to come back again next week or next month, we can do it again, because people need to be aware of individuals that are within your community that are doing this. And you got your dad. He keep telling you dad's watching, and then he said his heart is coming out of his chest. I just love that father-son. It's always something
Well, part of it is, and my dad and I, we have a very open relationship. He had his struggles in life, like anybody else, but I never held him accountable. I never held that against him, but and I've always said, regardless of what you're going through, you're still my dad, and that's never going to change. So with saying that, it's easy for me to get out here and just talk about my experiences. I'm not bitter. I just got better. And I just learned from my experiences of I can't complain about what I don't have, but I'm damn sure blessed about what I do have. And I know my mother loved me, my dad loved me, my grandparents loved me, my family members love me. So I can't make excuses why I can't be successful. My church members. So and you all know there's no clear path to how to be successful. You just got to figure it out and create your own path. And like I say, working with young people just gives you that new life to want to just keep getting better and keep gaining knowledge and, wanting to help them and see them succeed. I think the most rewarding thing for me is when you see kids and they say, "Hey, what's up, coach?" That's a great feeling. And most of the times I don't remember, I coached these kids 10, 15 years ago, but they still remember, holding them accountable and, helping them to be the young people that they're developing to become.
Yeah, let us know. Give us a thumbs up if you like this type of programming. If you're enjoying this show, let us know. And Coach, there's so many sides of this. I was gonna make the comment about Dad, and my dad's not with us, and I think Rick, both of us have lost our fathers, and so we always have a little special thing about being able to still have that relationship with your dad, and to be a dad ourselves. And see, one of the things that we just got something on from Reese's Senior Watch. There's a particularly young man from Florida State that's on that watch. I see you nodding your head. I see you already know that.
Yeah, that was Kalen. I don't bother him this time of the year because I know he's focused and getting ready for the season. But when it came up on the internet and I saw that that Deloach name popped up on that radar, really made me proud, not only to be his dad, but just make the sacrifices that he's made to be recognized as one of the top players in college football. It doesn't get any better than that. Considering we're in Savannah, where there's only probably a population of only maybe 200,000 people. But it's a great honor. It just goes to show his dedication and hard work and commitment to want to be the best, or be amongst some of the best in the country.
And your modesty is overwhelming. That's not the only bloodline you have that is an outstanding athlete. I'm gonna let you. I want to see if you would tell us about it. There's a couple things. One, it was hard to get a picture of you smiling. So I said, "Man, this guy must be mean all the time."
Well, this is real footage, so most people know I just keep a stern face because I keep my game face. I'm always ready to go. But when you get an opportunity to share your story, hopefully it encourages someone else who's doing some of the same things that I'm doing in the community. And I'm not doing this by myself. It takes the village of people that trust the process. Like I say, we don't have any signs. There's no flashing light. This is not Planet Fitness. It's not the Y. It's not your homeboy hookup. It's for kids who want to be better. It's just that simple.
Okay, I tried to walk you down, Rick. I tried to walk him down the path.
He didn't go it. Nope. He bypassed it.
So I just
tell us about your 6'9" UGA basketball player.
Well, that's the easy part. Of the three, I have three. So the queen of the crop is Taylor. Taylor was a 9-time state champion, 2-time national champion, and a Big Ten champion at Ohio State in track and field. So that's the queen. She's the most decorated of the kids, hands down. I can't say she's the most talented, but she's the most decorated. Kalen, he was a high school All-American. He ran track. He was on the 4x1 track team in high school. And then the baby boy, 6'9", rising junior at UGA, just transferred from VCU. And I tell you, one of the proudest moments outside of all of this is being able to be at the NCAA tournament and seeing your son playing in a tournament that, normally I'd be on the couch watching. And I didn't care whether they won. I smiled the whole game. I didn't even care the outcome of the game. But just to be there in upstate New York, sit there amongst it and just soak it all in. And then, like I said, come full circle. You see your son on the watch list today for football. Yeah, my wife, she's done an excellent job in supporting me with these young people. And, part of the journey is that, we took care of my grandmother until she passed at 98 years old. So, it was all in the family. And, my grandfather, he passed in 1980, but he told me, never put her in a nursing home. So as a family, my wife and 3 kids, we just made the sacrifices to make sure that she was comfortable until the good Lord said, hey, it's time for you to come home. So, I'm humble, I'm blessed, and, the kids are being blessed. Kids around me are getting an opportunity to go to college. We preach free. So if you invest now, in the end, you get to sign that college scholarship to a university of your choice, depending on how hard you work. And that's very rewarding. So that's just part of the journey.
It's with 3 daughters who play sports, none of them is as decorated as your daughter, but the pride you get to watch them follow their dreams, whatever that dream may be. If they're athletically inclined, to be able to see them have some success in it, that's what they want to do. If they're artistically inclined or mathematically inclined, as a dad, we have to kind of be in the front of the line cheering for them, for all those dads who aren't there for theirs. So we have to be there. And I know that you've been there and you've been a substitute dad for some of their teammates and other things like that whose dads weren't there. And I had a daughter, when they would say, Coach, your coach is like my dad. She's like, nah, that's my dad. You gotta get your own dad. That's not your dad. But that's part of what you do to kind of fill in the gap.
It's too easy to do. Most of the time when we travel, we end up cooking for the team anyway, because it's just something I like to do. The kids get tired of eating that processed food from whoever's bringing it in. And even doing my recruitment, with Kalen and, Coach Taggart and them, we had oxtails and macaroni and cheese and cabbage and cornbread and candy yams, and just take off your shoes, because I always felt like if I invited you into my house, I felt like, you were family. So I always try to treat people like I want to be treated. That's actually how I was raised. To always treat people like you want to be treated. So it's like I said, just part of the journey. It's just part of the culture. Just trying to get better, and I'm still thriving to get better as well. I'm not perfect in this game, and my kids will tell you there's no handbook to being a parent. You just kind of figure it out and try to do the best you can based on your life experiences.
Tell us about the football camp that you do.
It kind of came about, not about me, but about the kids in the community. So I wanted to set a platform for kids that came out of the youth programs that did all of the things to get to college, and then I would invite them back on their spring break, and they actually taught the camp. I just kind of put it together. So every year since 2018, all of the kids that have graduated going to college, they come back on their spring break and they host the kids and give back to the community. It's not about me. It's about, planting the seeds. So, kids that play youth sports can say, well, hey, these kids from Savannah made it. And if they can do it, I can do it. So it's about building a relationship, planting seeds. And, last year this time we had the kickoff season. We had about 8 kids actually playing on national television that were from Savannah, which is good. And, and they get, they don't want to talk to me, the young kids. They want to talk to the guys that wear the jerseys. I'm just going to have a whistle and scream and holler at them and tell them to hustle. That ain't what they want to hear. They want to be able to take pictures with the kids that play college football. We got 3 kids from Savannah that are 2-time national champions. And that's huge. I give them shout outs. Nolan Smith, who's now with the Philadelphia Eagles. We have Warren Brinson. He's on the watch list too. And then we have Kamari Lassiter. those guys, I actually coach in youth sports, so it actually makes me feel good to see them, achieve their dreams along with their families.
Coach, what is your ultimate goal? Because see, I get the feeling you can do this for a while. That, it's not something that you do in short term. It's something that you want to continue to develop and grow. What is your ultimate vision for the factory?
Well, I'll say not only for the factory, but for this community, is to eradicate the police department and the jails. We want to have a positive community where kids can come out and just feel free to be young people. And I heard you guys, earlier talk about, football games, and they had to cancel the games because of the crowd control. We had the same problem here last weekend where we went to watch a game and, you had 3 or 4 fights and we ended up leaving the game. So part of that is just trying to build a positive environment in the community. Let people, young and old, realize that if we come together, we're better. And we have to set the tempo. We have to set the examples for our community and our young people. And I just want to be that one person that when I leave this earth, they can say, at least Coach Rob, he tried. He planted some seeds, and hopefully somebody picks this up and keep it going.
Coach, the violence that exists within the community has been something that we haven't seen a lot in our communities. It was often in the larger communities. And as a former head coach at Florida A&M University, I would go recruiting. I've been in LA and Chicago, and gang fights break out in the gym and people shooting, and you got to lay on the floor to not get shot. But to see it in some of our smaller communities now is very disappointing. But it's not that we've avoided. It's something that's been everywhere else too, coaches. It was almost a matter of time before it infiltrated the smaller cities. And I don't know what the answer is.
Well, part of it is, just from my experience, is I used to coach youth sports. And if you've been around youth sports, you normally get those kids from age 5 to 12. And you're going to have those male role models around these kids up until 12. And this is a real life story. And we had a kid that we coached. He turned 13 at the end of the season, December. We played our last bowl game in Atlanta. And by April, May, he was in prison in juvenile for killing somebody at 13 years old. So it's like, so what happened from 12 to 13? Well, I realized it was the nature of having all of these grown men, African-American men around him, that he felt comfortable. And then when he got to middle school, he didn't have that. He just had the regular school teacher or PE teacher, and then he stopped playing sports. And I'm a big advocate is that if you have a good winning football program, you have an opportunity to have 50, 60, 70 leaders in your school. But when you don't give them something to do, then they'll find something to do. And that's why we see a lot of distractions at some of these games, because normally when we were coming up, we had school pride and we look forward to going to the game on Friday night. We look forward to the bands performing. But if you go to a high school game now, the band is down to maybe 50, 60 kids.
That's true.
Then a lot of the athletes are not playing sports because, that gap from 13 to 15 is where we kind of lose them, especially if they've been around the game. So it made me leave youth sports and then, realize that there's something missing, from 13 to 15. So I talk to people around the country just asking what they do in their communities. And lately I've been showing up to the school board meetings and just trying to share some of this knowledge. The power of playing sports changes the whole community. Everybody wants to be associated with a winner.
We had
leaders.
Right. We talked to our sheriff here, Walter McNeil, and we were doing some things with the high school students. And he said, Coach, Coach, you got to go back further than that. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you got to go younger than high school, younger than middle school. You got to start them in elementary school. Yep. He said, by the time they get 4th and 5th grade, Coach, they've already started down a path that you can't save them from.
And part of it is parenting. I don't blame the kids. It's the parents. Parents, part of what makes our gym successful is that we're not trying to babysit your kid. We want you to be a parent. We want you to hold your child accountable, just like, and we hope we probably have more conversation with parents than we do with the kids, because most of the kids, they don't drive, they don't pay mortgage, they don't keep the lights on. They don't buy grocery, so that's parenting. 5:30, 5 o'clock, they got to be here. 7:30, 8 o'clock, you got to pick them up. We're not dropping off. No, because when you get to the next level, that does not happen. So we have to start holding the parents accountable. So when the kids are like, Mom, Dad, I got to get the workouts, But we always tell parents, if you got to wake them up to come, then don't bring them. It's not the place for them. They got to want it. And in parent with you, it's a commitment. We sign contracts. And the other part of this is that the kids are talented, but we also recruit great parents because none of this works without a great parent. And they have to understand that. And the toughest ones to recruit is the mom and dad are divorced and are the daughter. And dad said, hey, the weekend that you have him, he has to go to this. And the mom like, well, I didn't sign him up for that, and I ain't got time to take it. We have to nurture those relationships, because at the end of the day, it's still about your child. And as adults, you have to be adults, and we just try to provide a service to help you and your son or daughter get to where they think they want to be.
Helping the whole community out.
No, go ahead,
Yeah.
Rick.
No, that's helping the whole community out. The whole community in Seaport, not just the athletes, but the parents as well.
Yes, I mean,
Good job,
because it starts with them. Every year for the last 4 years, I adopt one elementary school, and I kind of support their graduations. And I go to the graduation, and I see these kids, innocent kindergartners, and I'm saying to myself, these kids ain't got a chance in hell because the parenting is so. I mean, it's not even fair to the kids, and it's kind of disappointing that these innocent kids that being nurtured by their school teachers and principals and things like that, and then that summer they come back, they're a whole different kid because the environment that they're in is just not conducive for them to be successful going forward. And I continue to pray, continue to try to be a leader, like I say, not only with the kids but also with the parents as well. And I also had a campaign where it says nobody's listening. And that's kind of, a whole nother thing is that kids are trying to tell us, but we're just not listening. We play into politics in a lot of our communities. We're investing in things that, outside entities are benefiting from, tourism and hotels and things like that. But in most communities in South Georgia, when it comes to facilities, you guys in the same situation. We like facilities. So what are the kids going to do? They're going to figure out a way. So that's my biggest thing. Long term is what I want to be able to impact is that we keep our kids out of juveniles and out of the criminal justice system.
What an admirable quality. And I knew that this was going to be an outstanding interview, but it exceeded my expectations. And I thought it was going to be good, but it exceeded that.
Well, it's easy to tell, your story. Just who I am. And like I say, I'm not in this by myself. We have a great team. We have great parents. We have great kids that want to get better. And it just makes this doing this type of work easy. I enjoy doing this more than my regular job, which I'm trying to find a way to leave that so I can do more in the community. It's my ultimate goal. That one of the questions you asked earlier. If I could do this full time, mentoring and going to schools and talking to kids and talking to parents, having different people come in and talk about some of the experiences, it would be great. And that's the platform that I'm seeking. So I thank you guys for having me, and hopefully it encourages some dads and things like that, and some parents to want to partner and be change agents.
Well, you have the ability to take this show. We'll send you the link to it. You can post it wherever you wish to post it. And it is showing on YouTube, Facebook, INSiiGHTS Roku. It's on our Roku live stream. It's also on our mobile apps. So it's a lot of places. 2 weeks ago, we had hits from 9 different countries, 3 countries in Africa. So, you're on a platform, and with beyond the shadow of a doubt, we would like to meet and talk with you again. And we travel to Orangeburg. We have a relationship with Claflin. We do a weekly show within the Claflin Athletic Show, and a lot of times stop in Savannah. So
hey man, you guys are more than welcome coming up 95. I live right off of 95, so I'm just going to say one last thing that maybe you guys can have a conversation about. And we were brainstorming yesterday, and we talked about all of these fraternities and sororities around the country. One of the things is 100 Black Men. You got Deltas, you got Omegas. And I told my partner, I said, you know what? To keep these kids at these games, maybe we set up some booths, or we have these organizations perform at halftime so the kids can see what success look like. Part of it is they don't know what success look like. So if they can't touch it, feel it, see it, then it doesn't really register with these young people. So don't be surprised if you see something on Twitter where we got the Alphas and the Omegas and the Deltas and AKAs performing at halftime of one of these high school games, so our young people can actually see what it looks like. Other than them just sitting in the stands and wearing their colors and not wanting to get involved, I'm going to push them to get involved with these young people, especially our young men and young women, to see what a professional looks like, see what success look like, and actually can have a good time at a high school football game.
And see, you say that a good friend of ours at Thomasville High, former coach over there, Ben Tillman, a Q dog, and we as Kappas, we don't hold that against him. He's my favorite Q. But they use different fraternities and sororities to come. They have different days on their basketball program, and they come and support, but they also adopt students. And so they do activities with them. And because he's a Q, it's real easy for him to get them to get behind it and support it, which I think is admirable, and that's the way it should be, that your fraternity or sorority should get behind you. And once they got behind them, it was easy to get other people to do it as well. So they were able to do some things at Thomasville High that I haven't seen done a lot of places. In fact, he's talked to FAMU High about the same program and how to implement it and do that, for them. So we appreciate that idea because it makes us think. I mean, you said some things to make a lot of us talk about it and try to do some things with it. But the only thing I do know that we can talk a lot, but I can only talk for one. And I know what this one, and if this one can get one more, then we'll work from there. But I really want to be able to come and, sit down, talk to you, be able to get some things that y'all do and just continue exposing the factory to as many people as we can and try to make sure that maybe if two other communities pick it up, some of the things that you're doing with them as young men and learning to become young men and the responsibility of that above and beyond participating in sport, that will go a long way in trying to solidify our communities and have people give back to these students to help them grow and be successful. With what you said, I mean, if they don't have somebody that they can look at that's successful, they follow and emulate those who aren't successful. And those who are doing wrong are always in the front. We talk about all the time, why do pro athletes get involved with certain things and do certain things? I said that's basically because that's all they know. That's what they grew up seeing, so we're with you, Coach, and we have absolutely loved this conversation. Rick, anything you'd like to add?
No, I just want to say thank you for coming on, Coach Rob, because and it's funny, I'm in Savannah a whole lot. My wife is from Savannah. We have family there, so I'm there all the time. So to hear a program like this is amazing. So congratulations and continued success.
And anytime you're up in Savannah, man, just reach out to me, man, and I'll stop what I'm doing. Make sure you invite you over to the gym, introduce you, let you meet some of the kids. And it's kind of, it's easy for me to talk about it, but to see it and how it works, most people think it's like, man, never seen this before. And we like it that way. When you go on the field, you can tell the kids that work out at 2717, the factory, versus those who eat at McDonald's.
How about that?
Right. You say you could tell him, can't you, Coach?
Yes.
Coach, we absolutely 100% appreciate you taking the time to be here and share your thoughts and feelings. I don't think we could have gotten a more sincere response than what you've been showing us. And we love it. We absolutely do, Coach. And we do want to have you back on again. Had to come through there and get me some factory paraphernalia. I see you in. Have to get me some gear there. Look at it. See, I like that. See, that's the way you're supposed to rep, Coach. And we'll try, when I come through, I'll bring some INSiiGHTS gear for you.
Okay, I look forward, for the knowledge. I'm continuing trying to learn. Like I say, you guys have an excellent platform. Thank you for the opportunities, and let's continue to try to build up this kingdom.
All right.
Thank you. We appreciate what
Thanks,
you
Coach.
said. To your dad, he gave us a compliment and thanked us for using this platform and showing what you're doing. We appreciate that. Make sure you follow us, subscribe to us so you don't miss when we come back and do the factory again. And we try to keep up with these offspring that are doing things. We follow football, but we love basketball.
Oh yeah, you guys got to be there. Georgia plays Florida State this year on November the 29th in Tallahassee.
That goes right in my book right now, Gary. Write this down right now. I have to see that. I know you coming over for that one, right?
Yeah, that's on a Wednesday night. It ain't but a 4-hour and 15-minute ride for me to Tallahassee. I do turn and burns.
Hey, after November on a Wednesday night, we have to tape our show and let our show run by tape and put it on.
Yes.
So we have to see
that should be fun.
Yes, sir, Coach. We absolutely appreciate you, Coach. Thank
you.
All right,
thank you, guys.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, y'all have a good night.
All right, take care.
Too.
Yes, sir.
Man, what a great show. What a great interview. He did an excellent job in terms of telling us what he's about in the 27-17. When he told that meaning, I was touched. That was pretty deep. That was pretty deep.
You could tell he is that person. He is about doing what he's set out to do. I'm just struck, man. It was awesome. And in a community that I know, that I'm familiar with, that my baby cousins have grown up in, and they need that there. And for Coach Rob to be doing, and his crew to be doing what they're doing, man, that it touches me, man. It really does. And when I go through, I am gonna reach out to him most definitely, because he's got a story to tell, to continue to tell. And I'm glad we was able to tell it right here.
I know that's right.
Sports are a microcosm of society. In the best of times, sports can not only bring unbridled joy, but can also serve as a unifier of communities and countries alike. But in the worst of times, like society, things aren't as rosy and can be dangerous at all ages. Fans often view sports as life or death, depending on an outcome of a game. It isn't. Unfortunately, it can be life or death for the participants involved. Earlier this summer, Mizell Law, a 19-year-old defensive end for Mid-American Nazarene University, died after heat-related injuries at practice. In the NFL this past weekend, a collision between teammates left New England rookie Isaiah Bolden leaving on the field on a stretcher. Fortunately, the Tampa rookie from Jackson State was released from the hospital the next day, and his status is day-to-day. That brought back memories of Buffalo's Damar Hamlin, who nearly died on the NFL field last year. Hamlin suffered a cardiac arrest on the field, and first responders brought him back. He is now back on the field attempting to play again. And it's not just football. Last month, USC freshman Bronny James, son of NBA all-time leading scorer LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest while working out with his teammates. He survived, and while there is no update on when or if James will return to the court, he was seen Monday with his father at the Drake concert in LA. These are just a few of the instances that show us that these athletes put their very lives on the line each time they step on the court, field, or pitch. Heat conditions, heart conditions, and other injuries quickly remind us the outcome of the event isn't as nearly as important as the athletes that played them. We need to remember that.
And close that with Hank Gathers from Loyola Marymount. And years ago, us actually witnessing him on the floor and going through contusions and body wrenching and dying on the floor. And what that actually did for Loyola Marymount and people kind of following Bo Kimball. I mean, it's a problem. As recently as yesterday, we had another athlete fall. So some of it they're saying is heat related, some of it's not, and we have to take a closer look at it. And they're saying now that I just saw something today that they were saying Bronny's career might be over. I'm sure Savannah has told LeBron he wasn't playing again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure she told him that. And she said, you're going to find something for him to do. And you got all these companies. You let him run a couple of them, like your boy Rich Paul runs something. You need to let him run his own companies and call it a day. But it's going to be hard to tell an athlete who can't play. It's hard to. It's going to be hard to do that. So it's going to be interesting how that unfolds. And it's been, like I said, a really good show. We have material and things that we didn't even get to. Coach was just, man, he was just special. And his dad, and he's so supportive of it, that we appreciate that and the blessing it is to be able to have your dad to be able to witness some of the things that you go through and what you're doing. It's kind of heartfelt. We were able to experience a really good event with Coach Freeman down at Brooks County. Dads, decals, and dogs, and how they had the parents there and the decals on the helmets. And before the first game, it was really special. We even had we put something on Instagram. We weren't going to show it today. We might have to show it later. But we put on something on Instagram, the principal who we were going to interview. But at the game, during the activity, we found out his son was one of the football players. So again, being a dad, it said that it's important for him to be dad tonight. He doesn't need to be principal. And part of the ceremony, his son was probably about 5'6", about $125, and his dad was a little larger, a lot taller, a little larger. And to watch him put his son's jersey on, try to put it on, and the parents were laughing at the principal trying to put this jersey on. They said, okay, it took you 5 minutes to get it on. Now, how you going to get it off? And he actually had to he had to leave the locker room and come back with it in his hand. I don't know if he cut it off. Coach Freeman was like, oh, Coach, send that to me because I'm gonna send that to everybody in the school. Oh, so it actually was funny, but man, you have to love it, and it's just sports. I mean, we try to stay really on that positive lane, but it's just so many things that are happening negative that are coming into it.
I mean, and I said it. The first paragraph, first sentence. Sports is a microcosm of life. I mean, as much as we love to stay in the games lane and promote the goodness that sports does, there are times, and we have to bring it to you our way because we don't want anyone else telling our story. Because they're not going to tell it the way we're going to tell it. So yes, that's why we do what we do.
That's exactly it.
They hope
and before we go, we're going
to 3rd and 4 up the seam. Oh, Smith turns around and pulls that down. And
again, coming back to you as they go empty. You talked about his arms, and now he's wanting to show off for you. Loses the football that time, picks it up, and will fall on it.
They hope he can contribute. One on the play clock, 3rd and 4 up the seam. Oh, Smith turns around and pulls that down. And
again, coming back to you as they go empty. You talked about his arms, and now he's wanting to show off for you. Loses the football that time, picks it up.
The former Rattler still being able to make plays. Last exhibition game is coming up, and both of them right now, it seems like their way to the NFL is to be able to make it on one of the practice squads, but they have to keep putting positive plays on tape that they could use.
That's right. Okay, good luck, guys. Good luck. Just keep going at it. And the practice squad is not a bad way to go because all you need is a step. All you need is to get your foot in the door, and then you can make it happen. So keep going, guys. Keep going. Same for you.
Stay up to date with the latest from INSiiGHTS. Visit our website at INSiiGHTS.com. 2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
INSiiGHTS is a copyright of Mac 4 Enterprises, a Florida corporation. This broadcast is produced under the exclusive ownership of Mac 4 Enterprises and is the intellectual property and trademark of Mac 4 Enterprises. Comments of the host and other individual speakers on INSiiGHTS represent their independent thoughts and representation.
Your attention, please. Stay up to date with the latest.
Yo.
You didn't get a chance to put your quote up, but we did see that you were here. We appreciate you always. You a regular. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Subscribe to us. Follow us. We appreciate you. This talking about going viral. It's up to you if it go viral or not. And that's fact.
Get the app.
We'll see you next week.